লাইনে যাওয়া যাবে কিনা ওটাতে কোনো ক্লিয়ার আছে?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, so you all are getting my voice well now. Will we start class?
Yes, yes.
Almost all have gained 53, 59 will be there now.
Yes, sir.
Supposed to be 59. Wait another 2-3 minutes. So my name is D. Anandam. Telephone lab. And topics are ISD.
इको हो रहा है सर, वॉइस में क्लियर नहीं है।
हो है क्या? ठीक? अभी कैसा है?
अभी ठीक है सर, इधर से आवाज मिल रही है सर।
अभी ठीक है सर, अभी ठीक है,
अभी ठीक है सर, इको नहीं हो रही है,
अभी नहीं हो रही है।
Mute all your mics, and whoever wants to speak, they can unmute and speak, and again mute. Okay. So these topics are given 6 hours time. So you know ISDN and VoIP exchanges. These latest exchanges supports unified communication, that is voice and data. Our earlier traditional telephone exchanges, they supported only voice communication, but these two ISDN and voice supports multiple services like voice, video, all these things. That's why they are advanced telephone exchanges. Advanced means having rich features, high speed, and high quality. And in these two exchanges, we are achieving these qualities: high speed, high quality, and
Transmission
very
can
good
be visualized as
features
a
like
distributed
call
parameter
forwarding,
present
call
throughout the
waiting,
cable.
and lot of caller IDs, lot of features are available in these exchanges. That's why these two are advanced telephone exchanges. And basically, any telephone exchange meant for exchanging the voice. But actually, these two supports even high-speed internet access, video conferencing. So to get these features, we had been very long journey, around 200 years since 1800 here to 2020 is about 100 years to reach this level. Thanks to all scientists who contributes to all these inventions. Let us thank them and let us pay grand tribute because in lockdown also we could survive if even the complete world is locked down. Our communication systems makes the world not to go very other problems like no communication, no attachments, no business. Almost all businesses are run except we people don't come in. Because of these exchanges, we should feel proud of being a family of telephone communication. Let us start our. So a telephone exchange is a telephone communication system switching between two or more subscribers is done through either manually or electronically. Basically, telephone communication system switching between two or more subscribers. That is basic function of any telephone exchange. The word tele is a Greek word which means distance. It means telecommunication means a distant communication. So first, for making distant communication, our voice should be converted into sound. Sound should be converted into electrical signals and transmitted through media. And other end, the electrical signals are converted into sound signals. That way, telecommunication makes a distant communication. Signaling and switching and controlling are the main functions of any exchange. Signaling, when so signaling and switching and controlling are the main functions of any exchange. When ISDN interface cards 2B plus 1D, 2 bearer channel, 1 delta channel, there's a data channel, that is a BRI card, and 30B plus 1D BRI card. When these two cards are installed, these exchanges are considered as a ISDN based exchange. Otherwise, the remaining part is a digital exchanges. But when these two cards are made available in a telephone system, those telephone exchanges are called ISDN exchanges. So with this,
का माइक चालू है उन्होंने माइक म्यूट कर दीजिए.
pardon?
इन लोगों के माइक चालू है सर, उनको माइक म्यूट करने लगाएंगे, डिस्टर्बेंस होता है.
प्रॉब्लम है क्या माइक में?
नहीं कोई कुछ लोगों के माइक चालू है ना, उसके डिस्टर्बेंस आता है.
अच्छा, डिस्टर्बेंस आ रहा है क्या? Please participants,
अभी अच्छा.
mute your mics. Are getting any disturbance?
No for no.
So two bearer channel and one control channel, and another type of cord is 30 bearer channel and one control channel, that is called PRI. If these two cards are making our exchanges ISDN, integrated service digital network. You see evolution of exchanges. We have seen manual exchanges, automatic exchanges. In automatic, there are electromechanical and electronic. In electromechanical, storage and crossbar, all these exchanges are there. So we evaluated from manual exchanges to ISDN exchanges. Now we are running with VoIP exchanges, voice over internet protocol. This is the evolution of telephone exchanges. And to take electronic exchanges, these are the building blocks, the processor based. This is the first electronic exchange, and the advancement of this exchange is ISDN exchange. Taking any call, before establishing a call, we have to send some signals, dialing. Before establishing, we have to make some signals. Suppose if I want to call somebody, first I should get dial tone, then I should dial the numbers, then the called party rings, and when he lifts, the calling party gets ring back. Like that, there are many signals before establishing and after completing the call. We have to use some signaling system in the exchanges. These are the different types of signaling systems used in exchanges. In-band signaling, out-of-band signaling, and DC, low frequency, burst frequency, DC. All these signalings are available. We'll see later, one by one. So, what is telecommunication? Telecommunications includes, as I told you, conversion. That is converting our voice into electrical signal. Any telecommunication exchanges, they use three types of communication methods. Conversion, first our information or voice should be converted into electrical signal, then digital signal for digital transmission, and for converting different formats we have to make modulation. Suppose analog to signal or one formation to another formation. Use single signal by multiple users, we have to use multiplexing and transmission. So that means any communication system, any telecommunication systems involves conversion, modulation, multiplexing, and transmission. And whatever transmission it is, there are some switching systems. Basically, there are 4 switching systems. One is circuit switching system. This circuit switching is mainly using in telephone exchanges. And another one is packet switching, message switching, and hybrid switching, combination of above all 3. So there are some other switching methods, but basically these are the main switching methods used in telecommunication systems, and not only in telephone exchange. So ISDN plus circuit switching method approach. Okay. Okay. So ISDN uses circuit switching method, and mainly this is evolved for accessing high-speed internet and video conferencing. So out of other switching methods in telecommunications, nowadays we are using one is circuit switching and one is packet switching. This circuit switching is basically used for delay intolerable applications like our voice, video calls, video conferencing. They are very delay sensitive applications. So they need a dedicated bandwidth. So that's why in circuit switching, normally in delay sensitive applications, we use circuit switching, and delay tolerable applications. Suppose data transmission. Suppose you are transmitting one file to one from one PC to another PC. The delay is not matter. So there delay can be tolerated. So in those type of applications, we are using packet switching. So out of these two main switchings, ISDN uses a circuit switching like our conventional telephone switching. So basically, it is access for accessing high-speed internet and video conferencing, and normally for call communication also, audio communication also. Is my voice okay? Comfortable?
Yes, sir. Continue.
हाँ हिंदी में
Pardon?
हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन कीजिए प्लीज
हिंदी में ओके
सर वॉइस इज क्लियर
ओके
ओके
ओके सर वॉइस
टीवी कम्युनिकेशन में वो चार फंक्शन चाहिए कन्वर्शन कन्वर्टिंग इंफॉर्मेशन इनटू इलेक्ट्रिकल सिग्नल देन डिजिटल सिग्नल देन मॉड्यूलेशन सपोज व्हेन यू आर कन्वर्टिंग इलेक्ट्रिकल सिग्नल दैट इज एनालॉग टू ट्रांसमिट थ्रू डिजिटल नेटवर्क हम ये मॉड्यूलेशन करना है analog to digital or digital to analog or one formation to another formation. So modulation करना है and to use single channel for multiple users. Multiplexing भी करना है. Multiplexing करके multiple channels can be sent through single channel. ये multiplexing भी important है. Then transmission. So कोई भी telecommunication में चार conversion चाहिए, modulation चाहिए, multiplexing चाहिए एंड ट्रांसमिशन चाहिए. और ट्रांसमिशन में चार स्विचिंग सिस्टम्स है. एक सर्क्यूट स्विचिंग है वेयर द एप्लीकेशंस आर वेरी सेंसिटिव रियल टाइम एप्लीकेशंस. आप सर्क्यूट स्विचिंग यूज करते हैं. एंड पैकेट स्विचिंग में वो डेटा ट्रांसमिशन के लिए यूज करते हैं बिकॉज डेटा के लिए कुछ डिले भी टॉलरेट कर सकते हैं. इसलिए पैकेट स्विचिंग लाइक इंटरनेट पैकेट स्विचिंग इंटरनेट में पैकेट स्विचिंग यूज करते हैं बिकॉज बेसिकली इंटरनेट एक डेटा भेजने के लिए डेवलप किया है. बाद में हम यूज करें वॉइस के लिए दैट इज अ डिफरेंट इशू. बट पहले ओनली डेटा भेजने के लिए यूज किया है इसलिए पैकेट स्विचिंग बस होता था. अभी हम ये इंटरनेट पैकेट स्विचिंग वॉइस के लिए यूज करना चाह रहे हैं. इसलिए हम कुछ अदर टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करना है लाइक POS bandwidth reservations, all these things करना है. इसलिए these technologies are available in packet switching to prioritize a real-time applications also. That's why we are shifting our voice communication from TDM to packet switching, circuit to packet switching. Circuit switching में बहुत सारा disadvantages है. Bandwidth is wasted once the call is established. Those users cannot use for another purpose. All these things are available. The problems are there in the circuit switching. That's why gradually, because we are able to transmit voice without any delay by implementing some techniques, we are gradually shifting our circuit switching applications, that is a voice and video, to the internet, that's the packet switching technology. That's why this VoIP exchanges are being evolved. Packet switching. So circuit switching, packet switching, these both are mostly used switching systems in today's telecommunication networks. And still this ISDN uses circuit switching. Oh, it's a digital switching technology. Still it is using circuit switching only. This is basic building blocks of any telephone exchange. So these two telephone exchanges are connected to even link. You see, this is a telephone exchange, and this is also another telephone exchange, and these two telephone exchanges are connected through some even trunk to FC, and our subscribers are connected to local telephone exchange through MDF, and this is the basic building blocks of our any telephone exchange. Circuit switching, as I told you, bandwidth is dedicated. Once circuit switched, two users are connected, and the entire bandwidth of that link is used by only those two users. That is mainly circuit switching. Only the advantages are highly reliable and very secure, because this is only meant for only two users. That's why it's secure. In case of packet switching, packets may be transmitted through n number of routes, n number of routers. There is some risk of security, but in case of circuit switching, once the circuit switched between two users, it is very secure. It is meant for only those two users. This is one advantage, but the other side, disadvantage is wastage of lot of bandwidth, and another disadvantage is only one application at a time. If I am communicating voice, only voice is possible. At the same time, I cannot use the same circuit for accessing our internet or other purposes. So only one application is possible at a time. We want to. So here is a iteration of different types of switching methods. If you see this first one, A to A, only A to A. Once connected A to A, B to B, C to C, and A cannot talk C when A is engaged with some B. Like that, only one application at a time. But in case of packet switching, the A, B, C users can talk to A, B, C users of other end through single channel. So this is a kind of multiplex. So packet switching uses this type of approach. This is hybrid switching. One side packet switching, another side circuit switching, and they are integrated using some kind of technology like adapters. You can say this is hybrid switching. So functions of any exchange involves signaling, switching, and controlling. Any type of exchange, not only ISDN, not only any exchange, even Stoger also requires these two functions: signaling, switching, and other one is controlling. Signaling, for example, caller picks up the phone for dial tone. So when caller picks up the phone, the exchange will come to know this body wants to access some person. So immediately the exchange gives you dial tone. This is one type of signaling. So,
Saturday.
हेलो आज कैसे है? Are you able to hear my voice? Hello? Kumar?
This is okay, sir.
This is okay, no? Okay.
ओके
बीच बीच में चेक करना है क्योंकि मुझे मालूम नहीं है आप नहीं समझोगे. Okay, for example of signaling, if you lift the telephone, the exchange will come to know he wants to access somebody. So immediately, if everything is okay, line is okay, he will give you dial tone. And after getting dial tone, the calling body dials the telephone numbers. That is another signaling. And call party rings if he is free. And if he picks up the phone and calling party gets ringback tone. And once this phone is lifted, a point-to-point circuit is established between two endpoints. That is called switching. And so one of the subscriber goes on hook, the call will be disconnected, and accordingly the timing billing is made, and the controlling. The features also comes under some sort of controlling. So which user gives which feature. So these three functions are performed by any telephone exchange: signaling, switching, controlling. So even ISDN exchange is also does same functionality: signaling, switching, and controlling. And this is type of pictorial call, all these things. And ISDN, when ISDN evolved, then VoIP comes, and we had earlier PSTN exchanges, normal exchanges. So using some techniques, we can interconnect all these types of communication systems, including internet. That is the idea of unification of communication, unified communication. Okay. Now we'll come to ISDN, Integrated Services Digital Network. The name suggests this is digital network, pure digital network, and the services, multiple services are integrated. That's why this section is called ISDN, Integrated Services Digital Network. I told you it's a pure first ever end-to-end digital telephone exchange. Integrated Services Digital Network allows voice and videos and data simultaneously over a single ISDN line. ISDN line बोले तो ये separate नहीं है, ये subscriber line है, copper pair. So using same copper pair, which we are using for normal telephone conversation, that is voice, we are going to use the same copper pair for transmitting multiple services. Earlier it was only voice. Now I am able to send video, even data. That's why this exchange is called Integrated Services Digital Networks. So for this purpose, आपका exchange में ये function करने के लिए a separate card चाहिए. Those cards, as we saw, BRI cards, PRI cards. PRI cards are there. That exchange is termed as a ISDN exchange. So using these two types of cards, BRI and PRI, we are going to achieve this functionality. And this is very big evolution in 1990s. It is considered as a high-speed internet. We did not have these many types of high-speed technologies like DSL, GPON, fibers. ये पूरा नहीं था 1990s में. And ISDN using BRI, PRI, we used to get 128 kbps, even 2 Mbps bandwidth. That was considered as a very big bandwidth, high-speed internet. That's why the ISDN was very famous in those days. File line. थोड़ा file line. नहीं. नहीं हो रहा है. So earlier, before evolving this ISDN exchanges, we had the maximum bandwidth for accessing internet. It was 58 kbps only. Earlier, 19.2 kbps. Then it has gone to 36 point some 4 kbps. Then finally, it came to 58 kbps speeds. That was the maximum speed. But using ISDN, minimum 128. BRI channel supports 128. Two barrel channels each 64. So we can summarize, we can integrate into 128 kbps. That was very big speed while compare 58 kbps. So that's why it was very famous, popular in those days. Since it is a digital, it is error-free communication and the quality of speech is very good. And there are so many other advantages. Once the information is made into digital, we can have a lot of other advantages like we can check error, we can compress so that the bandwidth is required bandwidth is very less. All these kinds of advantages will be achieved once the information is digitized. So obviously the ISDN is digital, so we can have all those advantages which are available in digital communication and efficient for video conferencing and data downloads with elements of B channels. So we can get 2 B channels if you take ISDN line with BRI functionality. BRI कार्ड से आप ISDN लाइन लिए तो आपको 264 kbps B channels मिलेगा. 64 kbps आप as per your requirement ये 2 B channel को एक 128 चैनल भी कर सकते हैं और एक एप्लीकेशन के लिए लाइक कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं और अलग अलग एक 64 kbps वॉइस के लिए अनदर 64 kbps डेटा के लिए साइमल्टेनियसली यूज कर सकते हैं. दिस वाज नॉट पॉसिबल इन कन्वेंशनल टेलीफोन एक्सचेंजेस either data or voice, but here by using these two channels the main reason for connecting different services, either we should have different physical lines or these services are multiplexed. So here these 2 B channels can be multiplexed and sent to the user. At user end 2 services can be connected. 2 services को connect कर सकते हैं, एक फोन एक कंप्यूटर के लिए, एक फैक्स के लिए, ऐसा कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. आप तो PRI यूज करें तो PRI में 30 चैनल्स हैं, वो 30 डिफरेंट सर्विसेज के लिए साइमल्टेनियसली यूज कर सकते हैं और ये 30 चैनल्स बाइंड करके एक बैंडविड्थ जैसे भी यूज कर सकते हैं. That is the main advantage in ISDN exchanges. For your requirement, you can club the bandwidth or you can use a separate services. ऐसा है. And this ISDN standardized ITU standard, International Telegraph Unit, Telecom Standard. Earlier it was CCITT. So once this is ITU International Standard, you can integrate with any other systems. That is the important standard. Once it is an international standard, it can be integrated with any other international systems. But nowadays, this ISDN is gradually phasing out. Almost in coming 2-3 years, you may not see this ISDN technology. almost this end of its life. Because the emerging techniques very cheap, very fast, very efficient. So that's why, because these technologies were not available in 1990s. That's why 64 kbps bundles of 64 kbps were very speed bandwidth. So that's why it was famous. But nowadays, even for single LAN extender, ADSL modem, we are getting 10 Mbps, 50 Mbps, 100 Mbps. So that's why this ISDN is no more effective in today's networks. That's why gradually this ISDN technology is getting phased out, and it was decided by 2024 the manufacturers stops manufacturing. Even our railway board has given guidelines. In future, if you are going to procure any exchange, it must be IPPTX support telephone exchange. Any doubts, sir? प्लीज कंटिन्यू करूं क्या? बस ISDN is simple. ISDN are normal telephone exchanges with some special cards, BRI, PRI cards. They provide you higher bandwidth so that we can use higher high-speed internet access. That is only the main difference between ISDN exchange and other exchanges. But anyway, this ISDN is gradually phasing out because we are getting XDSL cable and GPON and other type of wireless access. So it's phasing out. Anyway, we'll see in detail what is XDSL, how it is substituting this ISDN, how it is getting higher bandwidth, all those things देखेंगे. And then service is offered by ISDN. One is telephone services. Because it's integrated. We are saying integrated services digital network. What are those integrated services? So one is teleservices like a telephone, telephony, fax, teleconferencing. These comes under telephone services. And another one is bearer services. And another one is supplement services. So ISDN mainly offers these three types of services. Telephony services, normal telephone services. And here the special is bearer services. Bearer services is basically normally meant for data services, to transmit data, to access internet. Because this bearer services minimum bandwidth is 64 kbps. In case of BRI, two bearer services channels, each one 64 plus 64. And in case of PRI, 30 bearer services, 30 into 64. You can get huge bandwidth, that is around 2 Mbps. So bearer channels basically meant for data transmission. And supplementary services. This is very important, supplementary services. So in traditional telephone exchanges, we get some services. But using ISDN, we are going to get very rich services. Caller ID restrictions, and call conference, all those things. What not? We are going to see what are the supplementary services. We wonder. A lot of supplementary services are available with this ISDN technology. So if you see supplementary services, ISB will support a new additional facilities. Apart from high speed bandwidth, internet bandwidth for data communication, internet access, with this ISDN exchanges, we are getting these many additional subscriber facility. You see some of the caller light identification. When you get call, you will be displayed a calling number. Calling line identification restriction. Suppose calling party doesn't want to display his number, if configuration is available, they're all required clear configuration in the exchanges. Okay, so suppose the important people, very VVIPs, they don't want to display their numbers to the called party. So in that case, they request telephone exchanges, and accordingly the numbers are configured so that the calling party numbers will not be displayed in the called party telephone. So this is a unique features. And malicious call identification, suppose कुछ बार कॉल आ रहे हैं, वो malicious calls होगा है, इसको होल्ड कर सकते हैं, ट्रेस आउट कर सकते हैं. Direct dialing, this is a DID, this is a normal direct inward dialing from outside exchanges. If you want to get connection to private subscriber exchange of private network, you can use this DID. A multiple subscriber numbers. This is another important function, multiple subscriber number. See here, to take PRI, we are saying there are 30 channels. So 30 channels, 30 systems can be connected, for example, and 30 different numbers can be given. So they are uniquely identified with this multiple subscriber numbers. That is the multiple subscriber number facility. And a terminal portability, within 30 numbers, you can change the numbers as per your requirement. And advice of charges. So when you speak, earlier we used to get outside this telephone booths, the bills were displayed. When you are going on speaking, the bill, the charges are shown. So this is that kind of advice of charge. While speaking, we'll come to know how much time you are speaking, how much getting charged. And call forwarding unconditional. So normally, if call is busy, you can forward the call. If call is no reply, you can forward the call. But in case of unconditional, it is not busy or no reply, so immediately we can configure such a way that when call is initiated, the call is getting forwarded to another number. That is the call forwarding unconditional. And call waiting, this is a normal, this one, when you are busy, you get the indication call waiting. Call hold. So if you hold the call, the called party, calling party, and who is to contact you, I will get the call hold this one. And call completion to busy subscriber. So this is another important this one. Suppose you call some number, the call party is busy, and you cannot go on call whenever he is getting free. There is no required. If you have this facility, so whenever this called party completes his earlier call and puts his handset on hook, immediately the calling party gets rings. And you will come to know the party is made. So this is call completion to busy subscriber. Please. Three-party conference, this is normally we know. Add-on conference, you can go, the multiple users can add into the conference by pressing dialing one number and using some PIN number. You can add multiple users in conference. In third party, the calling party and call party, by putting calling party in hold, a call party can transfer the call and make a conference. That is a different. This is a different. And meet me in conference. This is one kind of again conferencing facility. Closed user group. We are enjoying with this closed user group, if possible, and automatic call distribution. In call centers, one call goes, if that is like a hunting type. River charging. River charging. Earlier, you remember, the called party was charged depending upon option. That's why the called party, by seeing the number, he used to decide whether the call is answered or not. So river charging. Nowadays, the calling parties are only getting charged. But earlier, when the telephony system were costly, the calling charges are distributed between calling party and called party, or the total charges are incurred on called party. That's, the charges, when charges are incurred on called party, this is called reverse charge. So these are some additional features called supplementary features available in ISDN exchanges. Any doubts, sir?
Excuse me, sir.
Please.
Sir, kindly share this PPT to our trainees.
Already shared. Again, I will share. Okay.
After completion, sir.
After completion, I will definitely share. Already shared. It is available in our RTJ WhatsApp group. Anyway, that I will share again. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So now we will come to ISDN. There are two types of ISDN technologies. ISDN has several kinds of access interfaces. One is BRI, basic rate interface. This is called basic rate interface. Since it has got only two bearer channel, one data channel. Don't confuse, data channel means meant for data. It is for controlling. Delta channel, it is called delta channel. Somebody says delta data, but it is a delta channel. This is for controlling purpose. Controlling the communication. This is a data channel. One data channel, one two bearer channels. 64 plus 60. In case of primary interface, there are two types again, European systems and American systems. And we, as India, use European systems, that is 32 channel PCM. Out of 32 channel PCM, 30 channels are bearer channels. Bearer channels means nothing but if they are ultimately useful channels. The remaining are overheads. Whatever data channels and other channels, control channels and other supervisory channels, these are overheads. They are required, part and parcel of the technology for making all the signaling, controlling all these things. But actually, ultimately, these 30 channels are user-used, useful channels. In case of BRI, 2 channels, and remaining channels are for other purposes. Okay? So ultimately, 30 plus 1, and another one channel is supervisory and management channel. So total 32. European system follows 32 channel, and this American system follows 24 SIM channels. It contains channels such as the B channel, that is bearer channels, that are used to transmit voice and data simultaneously. I am telling, all these arrangements are made to make your communication simultaneously. Otherwise, in other telephone exchanges, conventional telephone exchanges, voice also possible and data also possible. When your storage exchange also can use voice purpose and data purpose. The only difference is simultaneously possible नहीं होता है, but ISD use करके simultaneously हम एक हैंड में वॉइस बात कर सकते हैं और एक हैंड से कंप्यूटर इंटरनेट ब्राउजिंग भी कर सकते हैं ये यूज करके. Otherwise, even storage exchange is also, we can have voice data, but not simultaneously. And at the same time, voice data at any cost, it is limited to 64 kbps in case of other than ISDN exchanges. That is storage. But using ISDN, this one, we are getting somewhat more bandwidth for data purpose. That is main differences. And simultaneous. Okay. And this is a pictorial view of PRI and PRI. See, it is nothing but one kind of multiplexing and sending to a single channel. And this is our subscriber line, one pair, local loop. Pods, you can say anything, pods, a local loop, subscriber line, single pair. So all these things are, still we are using same media by multiplexing multiple services. In case of BRI, 2 channels, and in case of PRI, 30 channels. And aggregate bandwidth would be 2.048 Mbps, and here the aggregate bandwidth is 192 kbps. 64 plus 64 the data channels and other control channels 48. Total 192 in case of BRI, and at any point of time using BRI line, user is going to get 192 kbps. Out of 192 kbps, user only can use 128 kbps either separately or combined. In case of PRI, user most bandwidth is 2.048, but normally this PRI do not use towards user side. This is mainly meant for connecting two ISDN exchanges. That is like trunk. Can be used user side also, but that much requirement may not be there for user connecting around 30 different services. That's why it is mainly used in between two exchanges as a trunk, so that from this exchange 30 users can connect 30 users of this exchange, because this trunk supports 30 lines. That way the PRA is used as a trunk basically. And if you see this basic rate interface in details, basic rate interface used for home users because it is only 128 kbps net useful bandwidth. 2 bearer channels, as I told you, and 1 D channel, that is controlling channel, 16 kbps, and another channel 48 kbps for management supervision heads, and altogether it is 192 kbps. And using BRI 192 kbps
नहीं सर
is compared with today's bandwidth, it is nothing.
सर वो आज सुबह अरुण ने इस सर्वे करके शाम को देने के लिए बोला है सर्वे करने सुबह भी किया था वो
माइक म्यूट कीजिए सर, somebody is talking, please. आप
सर सर्वे करके हुआ
फोन
आया
म्यूट
शाम को
कीजिए
करने
सर.
के लिए बोला है सुबह सर्वे करने के लिए दिया था आज
तो सर
ठीक है सर
हरिया जी, हरिया
हाँ जी
तो देखिए कोई अनम्यूट करके बात कर रहे हैं.
ओ सर
Anyway, this is something about BRI cards. Ultimately, BRI card provides 192 kbps maximum. Out of 192 kbps, we are going to get only 1 to 128 usable bandwidth. So if you compare today's requirement, bandwidth requirement, it's nothing. So that's why the ISDN getting gradually phased out. So these two channels, bearer channels, these two 64 can be used any combination of these 6, any one combination. Speech, data, image बोले तो data है, ये data है. So speech to speech, the main, and data to data, and speech to data, and vice versa. These combinations, whether you use 164 phone, 164 computer, or 2 computers, or 2 telephones, like that. Another pictorial view of this BRI card is your home, and you are getting 2 wires from telephone exchange, and this is a telephone exchange. And telephone exchange, if 2 wires are connected to BRI card, there should be BRI card. In your telephone exchange, there must be BRI card. Then only you will get the services. And these two, you are subscriber of BRI card, not normal ordinary subscriber like. Okay. And if you come to primary card में देखा है 30 B channels and 2 control channels, 1 D channel, 1 supervisor channel, total 32 channels. This is like a PCM. This is E1 PCM mux. It's nothing but E1 PCM mux. And normally it is used for point-to-point communication. That means between 2 exchanges, size a trunk. And out of 32, the 16th channel is delta channel, control channel, and it's like a PCM formation. It's definitely PCM formation. And as we see, European standard we are using 30 channels, and there is another standard, American standard, 24 channels. This is all about BRI. You see pictorial view. 30 B channels and 1 control channel, 1 overhead for supervisory and management purpose. And this is derived from your STM embeds, STM. Okay, and this it is connected to exchange, and another exchange is connected to this side. So 30 channels, 30 subscriber of these 2 exchanges can communicate simultaneously. Any doubts, sir, so far? What we have covered? Doubts, sir? दरिया मेरा आवाज आ रहा है क्या?
आ रहा सर।
आ रहा है ना?
tea time sir.
Okay. So participants can have 5 minutes break for tea, and we will join again back at 15:35 sharply. Okay. Yes, sir. And moreover, याद रखना जरूरत नहीं it will waste question पे
Potency आप हिसाब करके आइए।
variables.
जा रहा है Notu.
Can be connected to your normal telephone, and another VRA 64 kbps can be connected to your video conferencing system, and other end also 64 on normal phone and 64. So we can have a multiple services simultaneously. That's why it's called integrated services. The services are integrated, combined, and sent through single line simultaneously at the same time. So if you feel user feels
Anand, sir,
60, sir,
make me host otherwise first, and then you make a presenter so that I can control the meeting.
time like देंगे. People Garya any problem, Garya ji?
Sir, make me host and then you take the presenter.
Yeah. Okay, 1 minute. Thank you. Is
ये ठीक नहीं है
आगे
ज्यादा,
जारी है।
डायरेक्ट कर देंगे इस्तेमाल, डायरेक्ट कर देंगे।
Friends, you are. If your host is not coming, very option. Privileges.
Right click on my name and then
No option. Phone make a host on your name.
okay, then continue.
Huh?
Continue. Continue.
You can come. Otherwise, you can come here. Jariya.
No issue, sir. You can continue.
Okay. So the practical application of BRI. You see BRI.
Where R is
channel.
equal to useful for elimination or one is the energy scaling. This is very important
ISDN
to understand.
exchange is BRI channel connected to two users, and one channel is used for analog telephones, and another 64 channel is used for video communication, video devices. So here multiple services are running on single pane. So that's why it's called integrated. So if you feel 64 kbps bandwidth is not sufficient for video conferencing, so you can have one more ARI channel, and we can combine these two channels. So with two ISDN channels, you can get 192 kbps. If you want more bandwidth, again you can get one more BRI. Remember, again their cost for each channel. So 3 you will get 320, and 4 you will get 440. Like that, you can go on increase your bandwidth by getting multiple BRI channels or one BRI 30 channels at a time. Big organizations use this BRI card. That way you can make use of BRI available bandwidths for different services separately or combinedly. It's called ISD. Some tutorial view of packet ISDN pure digital end-to-end from user premises to exchange and other end user. Totally, it is digital ISDN, pure digital communication. In case of traditional earlier telephone exchanges, this local loop is always analog. Always analog. When you speak, the analog signal is generated, and though it is a digital exchange, the subscriber's part is analog. After going inside the exchange, the analog signal is converted into 64 kbps digital signal and switched to the distant circuit. This way, this is not digital, it's a pure digital. The applications, digital is a modem. Connected to this modem and service. The main application of ISDN is accessing high-speed internet access. ISP, internet access. This is one way of connecting your device to the internet, to ISDN exchange, to normal subscriber line, that we can say analog line still. So communication is digital, is analog. So normally this PRI cards are used for trunking purpose. Suppose this is a general exchange, and there are different exchanges are there. Earlier, they used to connect each and every exchange to each and every other exchange, but nowadays the RailTel has provided NGN network, so we don't need to have a mesh type trunking system where a lot of PRI cards are provided in each exchange for connecting one exchange to n number of other exchanges. That is gone. So with this NGN technology, all exchanges are connected to PRI gateways to PRI trunk, to NGN network. So you can have only one PRI card that you can communicate any exchange subscriber for this trunk. So that is NGN activity. And basic structure of ISDN. There are two terminologies prevail in ISDN exchanges. One is functional groups. So here from exchange, you have two wires. You cannot connect two wires directly to your phone or your PC like that, because you have to multiplex these two services. So there must be some device
can be visualized as
which
a
is
distributed para also.
going to facilitate
If you increase the
two
signal power,
connections,
okay,
one for
you can
phone,
increase the signal
one for
power by putting the more bandwidth, by
PC,
putting the more number of frequency components.
so that
But at the
these
same time,
two
it is
services
giving
are
room equally to the
multiplexed
noise
by
as well.
adapter,
This is the important
and
contradiction,
after going
important
through this
challenge before the communication
exchange,
engineer is
they are
the moment you
demultiplexed
widen the
by
channel, wide bandwidth,
the cord.
you are giving a chance to noise also intrude
So
in
that's
the
why at end user, we cannot connect simply the PRI connection to the end devices. We have to use some adapters. Those adapters are called functional groups. Depending upon a number of connections, number of devices you are going to connect, a number of different services you are going to use, like a fax machine, analog phone, a digital phone, your PC, and so on. So based on those different types of devices, we have to use some different types of adapters. They are called functional groups. So normally they are NT1, network terminal 1, and network terminal 2. So they are separate adapters for separate purpose. NT1 again can be connected to NT2 to connect a different device. But normally this NT1 and NT2 falls in the same device, because user side we don't need to maintain two devices separately. So manufacturers generally makes these two devices into one device, NT device, that is called network devices. And another one is equipment. Terminal equipment 1 and terminal equipment 2 to connect different devices again. So actually what I wanted to say, the functional groups, these are adapters, different adapters to facilitate to connect different end user devices. They make integration, interfacing between different devices to your ISDN exchanges they are those elements are called user elements are called functional groups. Okay, and coming to reference points, these are the reference points. You can say the different types of ports available on the functional group devices where the particular device is getting connected. Because for connecting ordinary telephone, simply I cannot connect any type of port on the network terminal. So we have to have some reference points. We can say the name of interfaces. So these interfaces are called RST. R reference point uses different devices. S reference point for connecting another device. Like that, there are terminology called RSTU on these functional groups for connecting different devices at user end. Are you clear, sir? At least, are you able to get my voice clearly? Garya?
Yes, sir. Continue.
Getting, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So, if you see, this is NT at customer premises. I cannot connect this PRI line directly to the phone or PC. Okay. I have to use some adapter that is called NT, network terminal, to facilitate to connect different end devices to the ISDN exchange. In normal telephone exchange में क्या होता है, वो लाइन आएगा, RJ11 जॉक ट्रिम कर सकते हैं और कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. No intermediate devices is required. Suppose rosette is there, that is not some different device. It's only for connecting, disconnecting purpose, passive device. अगर NT में there is a concept you cannot connect different devices. The logic is very simple. I want to connect multiple devices, but I am getting only single line. कैसे कनेक्ट करना है, कुछ ना कुछ मल्टीप्लेक्सर बीच में लगाना है. So that NT is nothing but a kind of multiplexer for multiplexing different user data, user devices, and sending through PRI single line to the ISDN exchange. So here, these are NT 21. Control adapter T1, T2, like that we saw earlier. So here, if you see this analog 4, it is not connected directly to the NT box. Clearly, you can understand, we are using one more box, terminal adapter, for connecting this analog device, and in that, this terminal adapter is connected to ISDN NT box. So this is a kind of small ISDN PBX, you can say, multiplexer, you can say. Okay. The reference points. See, the exchange line where directly connected to NT1 at user end, that is called Q point. Always the light which is coming from ISDN line to ISDN line ISDN exchange से आ रहे, वो लाइन को कंपलसरी हम U पॉइंट में कनेक्ट करना है. और NT बॉक्स में पोर्ट्स में मार्किंग है, S बोल के, T बोल के, U बोल के, ऐसा मार्किंग रहता है. सो आप एक्सचेंज से आ रहे लाइन को कंपलसरी U पॉइंट में कनेक्ट करना है. दिस इज U पॉइंट, रेफरेंस पॉइंट. Okay? तो आप डिजिटल सिस्टम्स को कनेक्ट करने के लिए these are all direct डिजिटल डिवाइसेस है, ISDN fax digital device है, a PC digital, you know, a video phone obviously these are all digital devices can be connected to yes point. Yes, this is our yes points will be there. So we have to connect all these devices, digital devices to S point only. And the analog devices, maybe your analog phone, maybe your dial-up modem for dialing internet, dial-up numbers for internet through dial-up, or PC through RS-232, not Ethernet. RS-232, again analog. So these are all connected to R point, which is available on the TA only. The TA is a digital device which is connected to S point of NT, and in turn the R point is connected towards the users, analog users, I can say, analog users. Clear, sir? Mainly, as a technician, as a technical person, user side, we have to ensure these connections, which device should be connected, which reference points. And remember, using the BRI, suppose this is a BRI, we can connect only 8 devices, maximum 8 devices at a time, but only 2 devices works simultaneously. कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं 8 डिवाइसेस को, बट ऐसा नहीं है 8 डिवाइसेस एक ही साथ यूज कर सकते हैं, ऐसा नहीं. ओनली 2 devices can be used for accessing ISDN exchange simultaneously. Suppose ISDN phone or PC for internet, fax or ISDN phone, like that, any combination, but only 2 at a time. But connect कर सकते हैं 8 devices. Quite clear, sir? Okay, I'm continuing. So this another pictorial view for connecting different devices and different references points and terminal groups. So this line is coming from Exchange. Exchange viewpoint, and between NT1 and NT2, if it is separate adapters, NT1 NT2, it is a reference point called T. T से T करना है if you want to connect directly. Otherwise इसको S में connect करना है, ऐसा है. So if you see this NT1 box, it appears to be like this. And see, ST NT बोले तो this is combination of NT1 and NT2 is a one box. Otherwise NT1 NT2 separate box है तो बीच में T2T connect करना है. So it is already available NT1 NT1. This is called NT1 plus NT1 NT2 is incorporated in the one box. So this is S bar T, S bar T. So normally user may have 2 services. One is a telephone service, one is a data service. तो एक NT1 बस है, इसमें ये कनेक्शन है, एस कनेक्शन है टू डिजिटल, and this is connected to ISDN. Okay, subscriber loop. Another way of connecting different devices using ये पूरा डिस्क्रिप्शन है, आप बाद में पढ़ सकते हैं. NT1 पूरा फंक्शनलिटीज, just I briefed to this yes, but here detailed information is there. आप बाद में पढ़ सकते हैं. T1 functionalities and NT2 functionalities, if they are separate devices, and T1 terminal equipment, one type 1. A terminal equipments में two types है, type 1 है, type 2 है. So type 1 is directly we can connect directly digital devices. Terminal equipment type 1 में, and type 2 में आप directly वो analog devices को connect कर सकते हैं. ये पूरा information इसमें है. Can go through later. And terminal adapter, ये पूरा इंफॉर्मेशन है. रेफरेंस पॉइंट्स का कुछ और कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन दिया है उस स्लाइड में, आप बाद में पढ़ सकते हैं. Another pictorial diagram showing these reference points where the end devices are connected on devices. So this is something for this ISDN exchange. Basically, ISDN exchange is meant for serving multiple services at a time. But at any given time, if you use BRI card, you will get 128 kbps. If you use BRI card, at most you are going to get 2.048 Mbps bandwidth only. Nowadays, this is nothing for today's applications. So we are gradually shifting from ISDN type technology to XDSL technology. So ISDN has so many limitations. Not only special adapters, BRI, PRI, this configuration is very complex, and user side we have to use so many devices, NT1, NT2, TA, all this is not so easy. So we are merely getting maximum of 2 Mbps. Is nothing for today's environment. So we are getting gradually to XDSL technology, where we are going to get higher bandwidths. Using some technology, we are even nowadays we are getting 50 Mbps bandwidth using same subscriber line. What I am telling, using whatever ISDN line is using, telephone line, we are going to get higher bandwidth at cheaper rate and with less complex technology. Getting sir, remember we are still going to use same subscriber line for getting this XDSL advantages, where we are using same lines ISDN and very cost complex, and it is very user side very cumbersome circuits are made. Of all these things, we are going to use simple XDSL using same user lines. So let us see. So before XDSL, did we use our conventional telephone exchanges for accessing internet? Yes, we used a equipment called remote access server, dial-up server, also called dial-up servers. Before evaluating all these technologies, we used the dial-up server for accessing internet through your traditional telephone exchange, which is subscriber line. So, using dial-up modem here, using RAS equipment, so we are accessing internet, but internet and voice not at a time. So that was the main this one. And another one is your dial-up modem, your connection is going to establish through exchange cards. Exchange cards were coming in between. So these exchange cards are basically meant for voice communication, that is 64 kbps. So that's why, though that these dial-up modems are getting advanced, and suppose if you had a 10 Mbps dial-up modem, but it is of no use because your connection is going through exchange. There, the 64 kbps bottleneck is there. So at any cost, using this type of RAS communication, you will not get not more than 64 kbps. That was the problem. Technologies are advanced, the modulation techniques are advanced. You can implement advanced modulation techniques. We can get 10 Mbps or 100 Mbps, but here this approach is going through the telephone subscriber lives. So this is the bottleneck. So at any cost, using this RAS type, we are not going to get more than 64 kbps. That's why it is absolute. I am telling this one. Before this ISDN, we used to access internet, but at a time one service and maximum at the rate of 64 kbps. But in case of later, we developed DSL, digital subscriber line. Okay, here the thing is very simple. Same telephone exchange is there and internet, and here you have got subscriber line and phone. Now you are also using modem, that is ADSL modem, for connecting PC. But now using this line equipment, I am going to bypass my line, bypass the telephone exchange as far as data is concerned. But voice still goes through telephone exchange for voice communication. But for data, I am bypassing my line, bypassing exchange and connected directly. So here in this subscriber line, the available bandwidth, even though it is a 0.5 mm copper wire, the bandwidth is abandoned. That means we are using for 64 kbps, but the bandwidth in 0.5 copper wire around 1000 kbps. Now I am going to use 1000 minus 64. 64 because I have to use for voice communication. The remaining 996 something I am going to use for data communication, bypassing my line by putting very simple splitters. So splitters, it is a composite of low pass, high pass filters. So the low pass filter means the 64 kbps voice communication passes through the exchange, and it blocks the high pass, high frequencies, and but high pass filters passes high frequencies, which is actually containing data, and blocks the low frequencies. That way, using small passive splitters, I am going to get higher bandwidths, even 50 Mbps, 100 Mbps bandwidth, using same line by modulating the remaining 990, 940 kbps kilohertz bandwidth by using a different modulation techniques. I am going to get even 100 Mbps. How? Or we are going from ISDN. ISDN just 128 in BRI, 2 Mbps in PRI. But simply by bypassing this line by providing small splitter, that is a DSLAM. DSLAM contains splitters, and users are again splitter. So by putting small splitters, passive splitters, by modulating my available bandwidth with latest modulation techniques, I am getting 100 Mbps line bandwidth for internet. So this way, X-rays DSL works. After please,
Excuse
the program again. Please.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, what does X stands for?
X actually in DSL, digital subscriber line, there are so many variants like HSDSL, high speed digital subscriber line. So X replaces H in that case, like ADSL, asymmetric digital subscriber line. The X means there are so many variants in digital subscriber line technology. The X replaces depending upon the technology. VDSL, very high speed digital subscriber line. Depending upon your modulation techniques, the available bandwidth is 940 only. But we are going to use different modulation techniques in the modem to get more bandwidth. Accordingly, the modems are named ADSL, SDSL, HDSL, VDSL, like that. Okay. The X stands for any letter which constitutes that speed can be replaced.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So next class, we will see the actual ISDN exchange, structure of ISDN exchange, the type of cards, how they are interconnected, the configuration part. All these things we are going to see in next class. Then total there are 6 hours for this subject. The last 2 hours we are going to have the very important application nowadays we have to use, there is no other go, that is VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol. So next 2 hours we deal with this ISDN hardware and other configuration part, and next 2 hours we are going to see this VoIP technology. That is very important. So there are some other slides you can go through later. ADSL, the ISDN is going to replace by all these technologies. Cable modem also you are going to get a lot of bandwidth. And GPON, this is gigabit passive optical network. That is the upcoming network where the fibers are used using this passive hub, like your Ethernet hub. One uplink is coming, and other nodes are connected through another Ethernet ports. Same way, the fiber is connected to passive hub, fiber hub, and the other ports are connected to users fiber. So that is a GPON. So using all these technologies which are actually available at a cheaper rate and a very easy configuration and very flexible, that's why we are going to shift from ISDN to these technologies. FTTH, that is another type of fiber communication, fiber to the home. Nowadays, our BSNL people are doing this type of connectivities. So these are all comes under broadband connections, where this substituting ISDN technology. So this is something about here. X represents different techniques, XDSL techniques. Okay. So here, this is the actually main technique. You can say how we are getting higher bandwidths using DSL. So this in available copper line, we have around 1 Mbps to 7 Mbps bandwidth available. This is not Mbps. Kilohertz. Sorry, it's a kilohertz. 100 kilohertz to 1000 kilohertz to this around 7000 kilohertz. Bandwidths are available based on your quality of copper line, thickness of copper line, and by using this available bandwidth, the leftover bandwidth, using some modulation techniques, we are going to achieve larger bandwidth. That is the main technique involved. Please mute your mic, sir. So here we have given some slides about how DSL technology works. I'll go through all these slides, and this is like ADSL is an important technique nowadays we are using in Islam users, where the available bandwidth is divided into different bandwidths. For home side, larger bandwidth. For service provider side, lesser bandwidth. That's why it's called asymmetric digital subscriber line. Because the home users normally they browse internet. The download bandwidth is more than the upload bandwidth. That's why the available bandwidth, not to waste bandwidth, the available bandwidth is divided into two different bandwidths. Upper is lower, downside is higher. That's why it's called ADSL, asymmetric digital subscriber line. But in case of LAN extenders, we are going to divide the available bandwidth into same speeds, same bandwidth. That's why it's called SDSL, symmetric digital subscriber line. So here two techniques. One is ADSL. The available bandwidth is divided into different bandwidths to cater our user requirements. But in case of SDSL, say LAN extenders, the available bandwidth is divided into the same. So it can be used for connecting to different offices, not home users. Because upside क्या होता है, downside कौन ज़्यादा use करते हैं मालूम नहीं है. इसलिए LAN extenders are used for connecting to offices, and ADSL, that is ADSLs are connected, ADSL modems are connected for home users, where browsing requirement is more, downward is more, upward is less. So these are all technologies you can go through.
Sir, one question, sir.
Please.
Sir, can you any technique in replace of ADSL? Suppose sir, now you are using ADSL modem, where bandwidth is maximum 24 Mbps or upload is 1 Mbps. But I want to say that suppose we are doing only 1:1 ratio for downloading and uploading both.
Okay.
Is there any technique, sir, or technology?
Using same subscriber line.
Sir, if any type of equipment is required, that is fine. But same, it is ADSL technology, you can't do the same things.
No, actually, here you are still using your subscriber line. Remember,
Sir,
okay?
sir.
That is again there is a limited bandwidth. Okay.
Sir,
In
sir.
subscriber line, in normal copper wire is a 0.5 mm dia. It
Sir.
supports hardly 1000 kilohertz frequency. So
Sir.
normally our bandwidth depending upon the available frequency. Okay.
Sir, sir.
So when you are going to use again subscriber line, same subscriber line for getting 100 Mbps, 1000 Mbps, it won't. Okay. But you can do one thing. Okay. Instead of the high upside downside differentiation, you can make the same. Suppose nowadays, instead of downloading, even individual users are uploading videos into the cloud, where we have to have a higher bandwidth for upside also. Okay. But here in subscriber line, there is a limited bandwidth. We cannot increase as we like. Okay. We can do the incoming, outgoing. We can make some changes in Islam equipment, in ADSL modem, so that the upside downside can be modified. Okay.
Sir, hello.
Please.
Sir, I am asking, sir, how much supporting the bandwidth of 0.63 copper cable?
Nowadays, the modems are available. We are having 2-pair modems. Earlier, the LAN extenders are only single pair.
Yes, sir.
Now we are having 2-pair modems. Even it is supporting 55 Mbps bandwidth.
Right, sir.
Same subscriber line. Again,
Sir, I am asking.
Please listen to me.
Okay,
It
sir.
again depends upon the length of the wire, the subscriber loop, and the quality of the wire. Remember.
Sir.
So if it is very near and it is very standard cable, yes, you will get whatever modem is supporting. Okay.
Sir.
So it depends upon so many factors, not a single factor.
Sir, I am asking, is there any technology ki bandwidth will provide 1:1 through copper cables?
Yes.
Means either bandwidth uploading of 15 Mbps, 20 Mbps like, and as well as downloading also 15 20 Mbps. Both are same actually, but in ADSL it is different, na sir? Asymmetric.
Okay. In place of ADSL, we use LAN extenders. The concept of LAN extender is same bandwidth upside and downside.
That's right. But it is a limitation, na? That is a limitation, sir.
Limitation already there in the copper, because it is a copper wire.
Sir.
So
Sir.
always the bandwidth is not only depending upon the line. Okay. It depending upon the modem, where actually the modulation process is taking place.
Okay, sir.
Okay. The complex modulation, the advanced modems are used, you will get more bandwidth.
Right, sir.
Earlier ADSL modems, ADSL plus, ADSL 2, ADSL 2 plus. What is happening? The cable we are not changing. Okay. The modulation techniques incorporated in the modems we are changing. That's why we are getting more bandwidth. But ultimately the copper is same. ADSL, ADSL 2, ADSL 2 plus, ADSL 2 plus plus. What are those things? The complex modulation techniques, if you incorporate, you will get more bandwidth.
Sir, what is the bandwidth of BDSL?
BDSL, it is even it goes 100 Mbps also. If you take here, there are some slides. Okay, you can see that slide is not there. See here, this is the ADSL 2 plus plus.
Right, sir.
You are getting 52 Mbps bandwidth. Again, as you said, it is a upside downside problem. Okay, but what is there? I am not changing my copper line. I changed only modulation techniques, modem. So if there is a
Sir, ADSL 2++ is both downloading and uploading is 52 Mbps or only download is 52 Mbps?
It is configurable. Okay, it is
Sir.
depending upon the DSLAM equipment where we are going to configure. What is my upload speed? There are some parameters. What is upload? What we can define. Okay.
Sir, can you configure both 20 Mbps each downloading and uploading?
No. Actually, there are default values for upside downside. We cannot say just type. We have to select in combination with upside downside. Okay.
Okay, combination side. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
There is a combination, but there are default values. Can you only select?
Sir, have you shared the combination? What kind of combination will be there?
No. What is this in ADSL in DSLAM equipment? If you go inside the DSLAM equipment, we can configure particular port such a way that 1 MB upside, 2 MB downside,
Yes.
or
So that I know
5
actually.
MB upside, 2.5 MB downside, like that.
Sir.
Okay.
Right, sir.
There is
Right,
option. Okay. Any doubts? So I think our faculty must have joined for clear your doubts. This is a session for clearing doubts. Good. Maybe. So in summary, what I want to tell you, the ISDN is not a big deal nowadays. Okay? Because of so many drawbacks. And we are already shifting to VoIP. That is a purely IP based. कोई इंटरनेट कनेक्शन के लिए कुछ करना है ऐसा नहीं है. ये वॉइस भी इंटरनेट में है और डेटा भी इंटरनेट में है. We don't worry about all these technologies. Gradually we are shifting. We shifted something and we are going to shift. This ISDN will be no more. And the technique in ISDN is very simple. It's kind of multiplexing. The cards make some kind of multiplexing so that multiple services of users can be transported over single wire. That depends depending upon the cards available in the telephone exchange. Very simple. It is a modem and multiplexing. As I told you, the entire telecommunication technology is conversion, modulation, multiplexing, and transmission. Any, though it is it is a STM equipment or telephone exchanges or packet switching, whatever it is. First, we have to convert our information into electrical signal, then digital signal, then transport over single line. For that, we have to convert and we have to modulate and we have to multiplex. The medium can be no matter, it can be any copper, cable, or fiber, or wireless, whatever it is. Even your electrical lines also can be used for transporting your data. That is called EOP, Ethernet over power lines. We know PoE, power over Ethernet, but there is a technique called EOP, Ethernet over power lines. Using power lines, we don't need to even use our copper wires, your Ethernet cables or fiber. The existing electrical lines, we can transport your data. So there is no barrier for transporting data. Only thing is integration was the problem. But nowadays, everything is in IP. There is no need of any integration. Clear? Thank you. Come here, otherwise, you come here. So here, the Srinath is available. Faculty, Binatisa is available.
Sir, excuse me, one question.
We three are here. Just like it is a discussion forum. Is better.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
WhatsApp ग्रुप में डाल दीजिए.
Excuse me, sir.
Please.
Sir, for railways, what is the future technology? Is it IP telephony or XDSL or like that?
See, the future technology actually the debate is going on, but the underlying is IP only. इसका ऊपर बहुत कुछ आने के चांसेस है, but the underlying technology is IP only. Maybe IP का ऊपर MPLS आया, MPLS का ऊपर SDH बोल रहे हैं आजकल. SDH बोले तो not this SDH. That is software distribution technology. So here, finally, the root is IP. Over the IP, suppose see the zero IP, voice over internet protocol. Up to transport layer, we are using same model. And in application, we are using so many RTP, RTCP, some STP. So, we may develop applications, we may develop the techniques, high-speed techniques, but as far as I know, for some years, for 1 decade, we are going to with IP technology, the final technology. You will not get any STM equipments, you will not get any other telephone exchanges, even your signaling systems, your control systems, your voice systems, your IP, television, everything goes under IP technology. That is ultimate technology.
All will be imaginary.
Okay, sir. Card USDN exchange. PRI कार्ड का maximum bandwidth क्या है? Can anybody tell? PRI कार्ड का maximum bandwidth क्या है?
Yes, sir. 2 Mbps.
Exactly बोलिए.
2.048.
2.048. Okay. How many usable channels are possible?
30 channels.
Channels कितना है?
30 user.
30 channels.
Total channels. PRI में total channels.
30 user, 1 digital, sir.